recording. Cool.
So
when did you even actually say what we're going to talk about today? So that's a great start to the recording.
a couple ideas if we wanted to entertain them.
Yeah.
Such as finding purpose, what projects we like to do / we need to do to survive. Project management, organization, making money versus making happiness, collaborating, working on deadlines or timelines, work-home balance.
Yeah.
What do you do to veg out? Dealing with criticism, working with clients, and our own individual creative processes and what inspiration you draw on. So any of those would work.
I'm bound quit, bro.
And Bound's gone. All right.
Fucking Bound's out, dude.
Game's
Quit,
over.
dude.
Yeah.
Fucking quit.
I said, okay, cool. Yeah. Going back to bed.
Yeah, cool. Okay,
I'd
fine.
like to fucking sleep.
Yep.
Cool.
So
Cheers.
I found out this is already not worth my time. I will see you guys never. All right.
It only took one and an eighth session.
No, I realized I needed some more light to show on my beautiful face. So, yeah.
I did order a ring light.
Nice.
So that'll be here in 6 months.
I forgot. Yeah, Japan, dude. So do you guys have Amazon Prime that doesn't exist out there?
It
does.
It does.
For the most part.
You're not getting I don't get the now shipment. We have to. It's still FedExing. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is it it's super expensive?
Ship? No. Not with
Amazon
Prime. Yeah. Other stuff is weird.
I ordered a new fan belt for my Jeep, and it was a $14 part, and shipping was $53.
Yeah, I just wouldn't buy anything at all online out there.
It's not too bad. It gets here, you can expect whatever you've ordered, as long as it's not a weird item and stuff like that, 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
From the moment you press order, okay, it'll be there.
Wow.
So hopefully you don't need it in an expeditious manner,
right.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, there's been times for me where I've been shit, I need this in 2 days, and where we live, we don't have a Best Buy. I don't even know if there's a Best Buy up in Charleston. I think Best Buy is on its way out. But so there's things where I'm or an Apple store is we have an Apple store a couple hours away, and so we don't really have a whole lot of places where we're at. Yeah. And so if you need something if it's not within a day or 2, just have to do without. Yeah.
Yep.
And so, but yeah, I think we should talk about something easy right off the bat, something that we can just talk and something that we are already kind of aware of. I think something just as simple as project, starting a project, something like that would be something good that we could start talking about, because I think it's something that we're all familiar with, that we can actually hold a conversation with right away, and then maybe have maybe not a schedule, but all right, this is the next thing we're going to talk about for whenever we decide to do a podcast. That way we have an idea of what we're doing when we go into it.
Yeah, I'm game with that.
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that right now at work, Newell and I have 4 ongoing projects, and we just started a chill hop album with a buddy of ours.
Yep.
That literally just started. We've done one
last week.
2. We did one session, and then we drank coffee the next morning.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting one. I would like to discuss the dynamics of how that's starting off. But then on top of that, we also started our EDM album 7 months ago.
That's going swimmingly, let me tell you.
Yeah, dude.
Swimmingly.
Yeah, it's about to get started.
Yeah, actually.
swimming
January
like a
1st,
chicken or
we were
something?
supposed to release the EDM album.
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh?
can't wait to listen to
What?
it. I asked if it swimmed like a chicken. I don't know. I was thinking of a
yeah.
chicken drowning.
Oh.
But
Essentially.
yeah.
What projects do you have? You said you have 4 projects. What are they?
So, well, ongoing for the past few years, we've been trying to get a memorized, like, remember the memorized music list?
Yeah.
We've been trying to get basically a music minus 1 version of that up and running we can distribute to all the bands to help boots basically assimilate faster. Because, like, these fucking Lance Corporals, man, they just get, they show up, fucking, we're already mid op tempo and they drop in randomly, and then who knows what fucking bullshit they're gonna run into with their personal lives, PCS, and especially fucking Japan, dude. Some of these 19-year-old kids,
Or just getting used to like living on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
It's
then
a doozy. Yeah.
I bet,
all
yeah.
of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
way over inundated with shit, and they can't. They end up like getting blacklisted almost immediately because they can't memorize 40 songs in 30 days. You know what I mean? Or whatever the fucking
Yeah.
list is, because I've never had to memorize it, but like, yeah, that's one thing that we've been trying to get off the ground, and it's been really difficult to. That's the only project that we've kind of always had that's never done anything. And then you've got I don't know if you follow the 3MEF Band on Facebook or Instagram, probably not, but
I on Insta. No, not the band. I think I follow your guys' sound crew.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's all the
that's a good
behind the
one.
scenes stuff.
Yeah.
We've been
Nice.
filming like feature videos. So we'll take like one Marine a month and post a video with like a good description of what they've been doing for the band. But then it's just in the video, it's like, hey, what's up? I'm Staff Sergeant Brigiola, bass player for the 3MEF Band. I'm playing Another One Bites the Dust by Queen.
Right.
And then it's
right.
me doing a bass cover video. And that's the video you get to watch. And it's a very simple video.
Gulata. That was like the last.
Yeah, he was
one
our
you guys
last
posted.
one that we posted.
Yeah. Yeah. Those look good, and it's something that's cool that you can like. Or it's one tool to get like the community to know the Marines a little bit more and recognize them, out in town or whatever. Like, remember Deep Fridge whenever we were at Cherry Point and we had the Beach Street Band.
Yeah.
Old jazz, rock, funk fusion, progressive metal fusion. Like, it was just a bunch of nonsense. Like, it was crazy. But anyways, like having that little side band that we'd go out as like civilians or whatever and play. And then, there'd be people out in town, like whenever we play as like the Marine band, and they would like recognize us and everything. And I think it's cool to have that. I think it's important for that too. I don't know why bands don't try to do that more often. Try to get.
Yeah, that's something I actually talked to the head of the Ockfield about that, about the future, essentially the future of the Marine band, or the concept of military bands rooting ourselves in the community is via the internet. Like, we have to have such an internet presence that when it comes time for them, when some senator or the whatever that organization, military spending organization at Congress is, like, that analyzes how we spend our money, goes to like, hey, we could cut bans and save $7 million a year, which is nothing, but they're going to use that, and it sounds like a big number. But then all of a sudden, the internet's going to lose their minds, and once the internet speaks, next thing you know, Sonic's eyes change. Like,
yeah.
So that's where we need to. Yeah.
I was actually, I'm like pretty sure that they did that on purpose. Actually, that they made Sonic look so stupid on purpose.
Oh yeah.
Just for the outrage and the hype, and like that's actually Gary Vee was actually talking about. I can't remember if it was on a podcast or if it was in one of his books that I was listening to, but talking about how like you can write just like an opinion or like a review on, you know, if you're like, he does like the wine stuff, and so he could like talk about like a wine that he knows that like, oh, you know, people like, and just make it kind of like a controversial like review, be like, yeah, you know what, it wasn't that good, blah blah blah. And then you have a bunch of these people come back and they're like, yeah, this is actually a really good wine. What are you talking about? Maybe you should be reviewing wines, or, you know, whatever. And then he's like, hey, you know what? We went back and opened up another bottle, and we actually changed our mind. We listened to you guys, and we agree, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, you know, crowds and audiences like really respect that you take their point of view and everything into consideration. So I think that they did that on purpose to build up the hype and to be like, hey, we listened to you. Now you should support our movie. Because as soon as you saw them fix it, like you saw all these memes about like, hey, they really care about our opinion. You should go out and support this movie and make them millions of money, or, you know, billions of monies.
Well, part of it too is like, there's no such thing as bad publicity thing, you know?
Right.
So, yeah. And it gets buy-in from the internet community and whatnot. So cool. Like, oh, and it shows too that you're not so set in your ways that you're not going to listen to, you know, wherever the peanut gallery is, that is the internet, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
for sure.
I think that's important to a point anyway. You don't want to gauge all of your either content or the way you do things based off of how the internet wants you to.
Right. Or negative publicity.
Or sure.
But so the hard part of any of these, not to curtail our tangent that we were going on about shit like that, but like to get us back to the concept of the starting a project at all, like I think probably I would say like based on having followed you now for what you've just under 2 years.
Say what? Sorry.
Just shy of 2 years you've been out.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It'll be 2 years in March. Yeah.
And like, so other than growing the beard, you've grown your photography business rather well, you know? And like,
there's a couple other things that I've grown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're all staff NCOs now, so it's not, that's not exclusive to civilian.
Yeah. It's a common trait.
Yeah. It makes a good segue into civilian world.
It does. Yeah. Blend in better.
But I imagine that the photography business is just like a million little projects started on top of each other. You know what I mean? Because like every session is its own project.
Right.
You might title it the same. It's a boudoir shoot, but there's 50 million of them. You know?
Right.
So and I think the starting the like, because for me and Newell, it usually almost always starts the same way. Whiteboard.
Yep.
And we draw on the whiteboard.
Beautiful mind.
Yeah, we're drawing on the whiteboard, writing down terms or concepts. Who we want to be involved with? Like what the different steps are. What the end state is something we always start with, and then from there we're backtracking. Like, how do we get to that end point?
So,
for example,
so you guys, I was going to say, when you guys start, is it just project with the band, or is it with like anything that you guys like or do together? It's whiteboard. We want to get here. Let's reverse engineer somebody, or
as long as we have access to a whiteboard.
Yeah,
and generally at work we always do because we have like a monopoly on them. But
my office has like 4 or 5 of them up on the walls, and each one of them has something different for a different thing that's going on. So,
and I think I've got 3 or 4 in the studio. Like,
and plus, I mean, I've always been like that, where I need, notebook works too. Like I have that here too, but like, I like seeing it I like drawing pictures. I like seeing it, the trajectory of the project from whatever the beginning is to whatever the end state is, and everything in between, all those fine details and stuff like that. And I just keep it there, and it's something I see every day. Walk into the office and go boom. Okay,
and we're analytical about it, man. Because like,
Oh yeah.
A lot of this stuff that we're jumping into isn't like the feature videos has become like a routine.
Right.
There's pick the guy, tell him what he's going to do, and usually we have about right now I think we have 7 Marines in the wings, like in the pipeline, and basically there's no deadlines for them. We've sold them on the idea that they get to make a video of them playing whatever they want. The only stipulation is that they have to be in camis, which we actually need to change to deltas because for recruiting reasons.
Rick, yeah.
Sure.
But it's the only thing that they have to do is be in uniform, and then they have free reign to pick whatever they want to play. And then like the first few, we didn't know what we were doing, obviously, and we mapped out. We knew the end state was going to be just them playing their instrument for X amount of time. We were going to put an intro clip in there, and we were going to do like music from the start. The first thing you hear is music. The first thing you see is the meth band logo. And then we started talking about like analyzing YouTube videos, like dudes who've got hundreds and hundreds of videos out that actually have an intro video of some sort. How long is it? How is it spanned? Like that sort of thing. And then are they going to talk? And we shaped the concept and moved forward. And then and then it shaped itself as we went through, as we found different get in the way, and like so much stuff that like, cause we're fairly seasoned sound engineers. I mean, we've got over 20 years experience between the two of us, and like we're really, really good at it. And we've got 2 weeks of experience shooting film.
Yeah.
So like suddenly what was 2 staff sergeants, a couple sergeants, lances, and corporals all on this project working on it together became a room full of fucking lances who were trying to figure out how to conduct like anything.
Right.
Zero experience. We've watched a lot of conductors never conducted. So I can conduct. I've seen it on YouTube a million times. I can do this.
Yeah, dude. I've said that so many times where I'm like, I can do that. Especially like, dude, conducting looks so easy, but I know it's not. Like I know it's like
it's really not though. Like
yeah, but it looks so easy. And there's been so many times where, like when I was in still in the Marines, I was like, man, I'm just gonna be a conductor because you don't have to like. I mean, you have to like do like parades and all that nonsense, but you don't have to carry a bass drum, or you don't have to, be doing this all freaking day because just have like one giant bicep. And for those of you who are only listening and not watching the video, I'm talking about the drum major in the band. Yeah. But anyways, I'm pretty sure that the only people who are actually going to be listening to this podcast at first are probably Marine Corps band people. Whether
it'll probably be, friends, family, and turns.
I mean, between the 3 of us, we have probably over 100 shared friends. So yeah, that's where it starts. Then it's going to trickle from there. Hopefully.
Between the 3 of us, we have tens of friends.
Tens of friends, at least.
Well, solid.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about what you're talking about too, the kind of like mapping out like the whole process from like the end, you have like your end, like what you want the end state to be, and then you kind of like backtrack from that. And that's that's something that I have found has helped me so much with my photography business, and not just projects, but like money too. Like money is like the easiest thing to kind of like, I want to make, we'll say like $100,000. Well, like so many people freak out about $100,000, but that's like, like the end goal is like, or that's like when I'm super, super rich or whatever. But then you just break it down in a month. And you're like, oh, well, that's less than $10,000 a month. That's less than however much a week. And if you're running like a, a sustainable business, it's really not well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't just generalize it. But, you know, once you start breaking it down, $100,000 seems like this huge, like crazy number that's inconceivable. But then you're like, oh, well, if I just do, you know, $2,000 a week or whatever it is, you know, math, but it makes it a whole lot easier, especially too with like bigger projects. And like I've found actually like recently, like once I start like thinking of like all like the shit that I have to do or have to get done, like literally just like, you know what, maybe I just shouldn't do that, and I'll just put it off a little bit longer. Like I don't know if it's like anxiety or whatever it is, but like looking at like the big like projects is like, you know, is a whole lot more intimidating. Just kind of like writing it down, breaking it down, and being like, all right, I just do these couple little steps. It's going to make this, you know, one big step, and that's one big step closer to, you know, the end result. It does make it a lot easier too.
Yep.
Yeah, and like
I would
with
agree.
the Chill Hop album, this is like
What is a
these
chill
are-
hop album?
So Chill Hop is the greatest genre of music that's ever been fucking
Is it like chill
Like-
hip hop?
thought of. Yeah,
It's like it's hip hop and basically
Smooth
jazz,
jazz.
and R&B all kind of thrown together.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
basically just for you're driving the car, you need some subtle background music. It's basically jazz combo everywhere you go.
yeah. It's like me and Alex
Okay.
last night we drove to Newell's place for
My
New
worst
Year's.
nightmare.
Happy New Year's, by the way. But
Oh yeah, Happy New Year's.
Oh yeah, thanks.
so
Oh, yeah.
we drove to Newell's house, and we parked at the PX and walked over to his place, and like, email, calm the fuck down, not important. So we walk in, right? We drank, we had a good time, but then we took a cab home, and then we walked to base today. It's like a 2.5 mile walk. It's not that long. Strolling, no time, like not on a deadline. We weren't like trying to fucking keep our heart rate up. Chill hop the whole time. Like she was like, let's listen to jams and not even talk to each other. We're just gonna walk. Chill hop the whole time, and it was like so zen to just walk and listen to these super chill beats.
Hops.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Super chill hops. So
I think you keep using it as a verb, and I think it's really cool. Like, yeah, we just chill hopped. We chill hopped all the way back to
chill
base.
hopped all the way to fucking base. But
Yes.
now, like any other art form, there's a structure.
Right.
And so the third dude that's with us, he knows it really well. He listens to it a lot. Newell's been listening to it a lot. I haven't paid attention to it at all. So we sit down and like do it, and they're in it. They're looking at these chord structures and talking about ideas for melodies. And I basically sat there and like got my interface set up and downloaded some software.
Like, what are we doing now?
Bought an upgrade for my DAW, and I'm just hanging out, chilling, waiting. And then we send them, like, I'm the last step. So they send me the MIDI file. I drop it into Studio One, like, because he drops it into, as they're writing, like on the piano, Newell's, like, they're using, because they got the piano plugged straight into Sibelius. So they're like real time transcribing it into sheet music.
Nice.
And then Newell's exporting that MIDI file and dropping it off to me. I'm dropping it into Studio One, and now I have this like full suite of dope sounds that I can assign to that MIDI file and those MIDI sequences. And like, what I've been trying to study now is like, I'm just listening to this stuff as much as I can, passively and actively, so that I can get the feel of how the structure of the song happens. Because now I'm going to map that structure out from the four bars of chords we came up with, or the 12 bar melody that we might have like had. And I'm gonna do the same thing with that, with those little patches, but like we're very much in that rough first step of like, now we know what the end state is. We want to create basically a YouTube channel where you have all of our stuff like in one video that just runs forever. Like you can do the 5 hours of everything we've ever done, pop in sequence, and you can sit there and study or clean your apartment or whatever.
You don't even you don't know the track
chill music in the
changes at
background.
all. Like it just
Yeah,
goes
it's just
boom,
they're
boom,
perfectly
just
seamless.
playlisted.
So
So
we're also going to make a bunch of individual videos for
Yes.
each track of like just stuff happening.
Yeah.
Because like if you YouTube chill hop, you'll find like other than like the live radio station where it's like a GIF with something moving in the background that just loops forever. Sometimes it'll be just a picture of some environment, or it'll be like a small cartoon thing, like it's some sort of GIF is the idea. And we want to shoot like live footage of like 2 to 3 minutes of something.
Well,
like you driving in your car at night.
Yeah.
Or
we want to create moments that the music is basically the underscore for that thing. Driving or sitting there smoking a cigarette, or the one that I really like is getting like an aerial shot of a nice hot cup of coffee so you can see the steam coming out, but the camera's like right here and it's just coming out. And then it'll probably be time lapse is my guess, but every so often, like it'll leave the screen, drink it, and then there's less coffee, and that'll just happen over, and it'll only be in the span of like 3 minutes or something like that.
Huh.
And
almost kind of like you guys have Apple TV?
Yeah.
Kind of like their
No,
screensavers, where it's kind of like,
kind of like that, yeah.
They do like the cityscapes where like the drone like does like a cityscape.
But like all you see is like the stream of cars going, like, but everything else is completely still. But you see this pipeline of things going. Yeah, it's similar to that. But creating just moments of stuff like that, so it's a little more captivating to the eye rather than just like a GIF of something where there's like rain. You can see just rain happening, but it's the same rain happening over and over and over and over.
Right.
You know?
Instead, it'd be like you're watching. Like you're watching. How do I describe it? Like in a movie, right? The scenes in a movie happen so quickly,
right?
And like they never take a moment. You're never just gonna like see the main character eat the whole cheeseburger. You know what I mean? Like you're never gonna just have that long-winded. Like there's never gonna be that scene of the 30 minutes of him watching Netflix and making breakfast.
Right.
They make all of you sit there and wait for the pan to warm up for eggs, and you crack the eggs and you do this.
And then he's doing that.
Or
and then
you're brushing your teeth.
Finally, he's interrupted by the guy while he's making. Right to the interruption. I'm in the middle of cooking breakfast, and you just accept that because really the thing that's happening is this guy interrupting me in the storyline pushing forward.
Yeah.
But all those moments in life where the storyline's not pushing forward, chill out.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
It took a while, but we got there. I figured it out.
And I mean, we're kind of still even like.
Yeah, it's still, we haven't done it yet. Like we're still, we're crafting the music, we're crafting the ideas, we're kind of we haven't like physically storyboarded like scenes and stuff like that, but we got a lot of ideas. We just need to do it, you know? And as soon as we realize at least one of them, then we can be like, okay, cool. Just like we did with the featured musician videos. Do the first one, it's probably going to be garbage. And then we like, okay, change this and modify it. Cool. Next one, a little bit better. Next one, a little bit better. That kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's like one of like the key points of like starting a project is
you just got to do it.
Do it. Yeah. I mean, there's been so many times. Oh my gosh. There's been so many times where my poor wife, because she has to listen to all of my like absolutely ridiculous ideas. And she always has to just kind of nod and that's a great idea. And a lot of times I think she like knows that it's you know, something like that is, or you know, the majority of ideas that I come up with are not actually going to come to fruition, and they're just more like ideas and just kind of, you know, thinking outside the box. I think it's important to do that too, but I think if you're actually serious about a project, like you have to just like start, you know, you actually have to just do it. And that was like, so when we started doing Boudoir in January last year, I actually said that right. I thought I was going to say this year. But anyways, when we started, you know, doing Boudoir in January last year, like, you know, we came up with the idea. We're talking about, you know, studio setups and everything like that. I built like a real shitty, like headboard for the bed and everything like that. We put it together. I'm like, all right, well, we should, try taking pictures now. So go take your clothes off, babe. Let's try this, let's try this, and so super, super shitty. And then I messaged a couple of my friends and I was like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Do you mind coming out? You'll give you like half price pictures or something like that. And first couple of sessions were so god awful, so terrible. And if those friends are listening now, thank you very much for just doing that, because it definitely takes like obviously for like that type of shoot, the boudoir stuff, it takes a lot of like trust from the client, for the photographer but anyways, but not just that, but especially if they're just starting out, because posing is going to be bad, lighting's going to be bad, and all that kind of stuff. But like you're saying, you go back, and that's exactly what we did. We did our first session. We're going through it, and I was like, this is not good. Like, what do we need to fix? Like, lighting is god awful. We need to fix lighting. Next session, like, we just concentrated on lighting, and then we came back. We're like, oh, okay, lighting's better, but posing is really, really bad. We gotta, try some different stuff for posing. Watch some extra YouTube videos on posing or whatever, and just little by little, just kind of dwindled away the bad, and it started like getting a little bit better. And I think it was like 10-15 sessions in, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what, now it's like the gear, like now the gear is holding me back, and so we've updated our lens, and it's like, all right, cool, now it's like our quality is way better. But I think like it actually like hit me like 25 sessions, and I like looked at it and I was like compared like our first session to like our 25th session. And I was like, dude, this is like night and day. It looks like two different photographers taking it. And I was like, all right, cool. So now like we're on like the right path. But like that first initial like start to a project like is like the hardest part, because you can see the end result, but there's like no direction, and it's like
you got to figure out the direction. That's the hard part, is that you're like, well, I don't know.
The craziest thing about any project is that, yes, you know what your end state's going to be, and you know the action steps to get there. You start and you do that first session, and you look at it and go, all right, the end state and all these action steps, change it all. None of it's going to work. Restart, restart. And then 25 in, you're like, now we got a fucking action plan. Now we can actually start, suddenly now you're beginning. Session 1 is next week. Look at, I've experienced the exact same thing over the past 10 years doing sound engineering. You were there when I first started with all this stuff, and was like,
we both were.
Couldn't even roll fucking cable. And now 10 years later, with almost no end state in mind, but developing different projects, now I'm slated to go to the school and teach sound engineering.
Nice.
And like, you looking at the projects me and Newell have done now, Newell and I going through the last Band of the Year project, I would love to open it up and break it down a little bit and look at it. But I think we end stated with like almost 130 something, 160 tracks.
Oh yeah.
With the amount of magic we pulled out of our hat with this thing to make stuff where I would have never even imagined some of this stuff was possible when we were sitting there in the booth in Albany and I was cutting reference recordings for the boss, or whatever unit leader at the time. And a lot of it just comes down to practice. Do something, look at it, look at it. Because I can only imagine that you're probably in the minority make it to session 25.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like most, I would imagine almost every one of them gets to like 2 or 3 and is like, I can't do this.
Oh yeah.
Let's do something else. 2 or 3 can't do that. Let's do something else. 2 or 3 can't do that.
Yeah.
Instead of just continuing to beat at it and analyze and figure out, because no matter what, the first moment we go, this is our, like, I'm going to sit down and be like, yo, check it out, dudes. We're done. And Newell and Tala were going to go, this is fucking dog shit, bro. And we need to fix it. This
Back
needs
to the drawing board.
This needs to fix, fix that, fix this. And like, it's the same thing with any recording session of any artist. Because they're going to sit down, whoever your client is, and look at it and go, that's awful. that doesn't even sound like I sang the song.
Yeah. I think too, especially with like the day and age that we live in, it's like, you know, everyone is like wants this instant gratification, and it doesn't work well with, you know, being a creative. Like there's nothing about being a creative and instant gratification. Like they just don't mix well, you know. And I always like, you know, I've thought of like, you know, paintings, you know, like no one has, like you could print out a picture and it's going to be like, okay, cool, you know, I just printed out this picture, like there you go, this is, no one really considers that art. But taking 100 hours, you know, and doing every little, you know, brush stroke, you know, that's what makes a painting, and that's what makes it so impressive and worth the 100-hour journey of the first brush stroke. I think too, like I don't paint, but I can't imagine the anxiety of that first brush stroke, like on a completely blank canvas, you know. And like, you know, taking like, how many brush strokes does it take? I wonder if that's something that I could Google. Like, I wonder how many like brush strokes like it takes for like a painter to like actually feel like he's going in the right direction, you know? Because I can't imagine with a completely blank, you know, 40 by 40 canvas, you know, that first brush stroke I can't imagine there's a whole lot of confidence to be like, this is where this is supposed to go. You know.
Look, it's just a completely like it's almost like that's how I feel sitting in front of my laptop. Newell sends me literally four chords, and I look at them in the MIDI file in the DAW, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, now what?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Cool. I got four chords.
Yep. Oh my god.
You know what? I'll throw a like a beat behind it, and I'll pull up a drum set, and I'll map out a beat, and then I'll hit play, and I'm like, that's none of that. Delete all that. Over and over and over again. And the weird part is, that's the fun. Like that's the fun of the creative process.
Yeah.
Is the first brushstroke. Fuck. Well, maybe another one. Maybe another one can fix that one.
Well,
it's like, and then all of a sudden your image starts to take shape.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? So like I carry a sheet music paper with me everywhere I go, right? Because I never know when, or a voice recording or something like that. But I would venture to say that at least half the stuff I write down or record, like just as a random idea, I don't use. But I have it because you never know. Because that's the thing. Like part of the creative process, at least from my perspective, is just doing continuously. Because you got to get your mind in the right mindset to be able to craft stuff. You got to warm up to it. Basically, it's the muscle, right? So like, I'll just sit there, like I've been at coffee with Fridge, and I'll just write some shit down, and the first couple of them, like, this is going to be garbage. I already know it. Cool. Going to just go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, cool. That was a little bit better. Going to move on to the next one. I'll go take that and put it in Sibelius and start messing around with chords or whatever. But like, that's the fun in that aspect of it. Cause it's just like, cause not everybody can write music. I've discovered, like, there's a lot of arrangers out there. I've worked with a lot of them over the years, and they're like, I'm like, hey, you should try just, composing your own thing with maybe chords or, melody. Cool. They're like, but make all sorts of excuses instead of just like, well, just go to a piano or whatever your instrument of choice is for composition and just start noodling around. And often, like, I don't have a reference to go by. I just start writing, because then I don't second guess myself about like, oh, that interval's stupid or this thing is stupid. Nope. Yeah. I'm unencumbered by what the actual pitches are, because I can hear a thing in my head and I try to recreate that thing, but that's a thing that is part of my own process that's the joyful part. Like, cause I have everything I've ever written somewhere, either on paper or digitally. And every now and then I'll be like, well, let's see if I can use this little chunk of something and turn it into a thing.
Yeah.
Especially like, because I've been composing and arranging like professionally since like 2005. So I've got a lot of shit to go off of,
Yeah.
So
I think it's cool too
Makes my
that
life
beauty in
so
that
much
is
easier. But
yeah, that's true. Like I can use it now, you know.
because we actually took one of his wind ensemble arrangements or compositions rather, and we dropped it into Studio One, and I spent like first of all I spent like the first 3 days, a few hours a day, deleting notes out of it because it was like it's scored to an entire wind ensemble, and there
There's a lot of
are
stuff.
like I'm trying to I copy and pasted everything basically into one MIDI track. And so now I'm finding the 97 C1s and deleting all except for the one of them. And then so that way I'm like mapping out just what the whole thing looks like, just one note per whatever assigned to it. And then going, all right, well, like, look at this chord that he mapped out. Those are passing tones, but I've created a new chord or this really complex, thick voiced moment that happens in a beat. Found that, extract that, expand that entire idea, and just start creating. And that's how we're creating our EDM album. Is we're not actually going from scratch. We're starting with old compositions of his that we're kind of breathing an entirely new life into by, like, he's dropping all the source material into the MIDI for me, and it's just, all right, dude, do whatever you want now.
right.
And so I already have all those chords and the form and everything, and I'm like just restructuring how to recreate the emotional content of what he tried to do in sounding like an EDM track, and then also keeping true to that massive genre that is electronic music. Yeah.
So when you guys are starting like a project or like a song or whatever, is it? We'll just start with like a song. So if you guys like are wanting to write or arrange or compose something, does it start off with like something that you hear in your head, or is it something where you're just like on your instrument, just kind of hanging out, just like doodling or whatever, and something like, oh, that accidentally sounded really cool. Let's see what I can do with that. Or is it like how does that start for you guys?
Well,
Kind of
both of those
Yep,
are 100% accurate. And there's one other, I would say, and that is the moment of like hearing something. Because like, look at, what's the tune? What's the guy's name? It's called Summer Days, Macklemore. This new tune, Summer Days. Overall, it's a good tune. Like, I do enjoy listening to the whole tune, but the best part of the tune is everything building up until the first time that slap bass enters. When you have the fully realized slap bass part come in, that's like the moment the entire song has come together. And that's everything you hear and is building to that moment right there. And then so like, how do you create that moment in music and then build it into that moment and then continue to keep someone's attention? Because like, and that's probably the thing we struggle with the most once you actually start putting stuff down on either paper or into Studio One and start really like messing with stuff. Because like sounds can be, you'll go back and forth on different sounds all day, but like the moments that happen inside of a song.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
But actually, I'm sorry, to answer your question, that's right. To answer the question, that moment is the inspiration. So how can I recreate that? Or like, I'll be listening to, like whatever is in the coffee shop in the background while I'm ordering, all of a sudden, like a lick will happen in the melody or the way the words are sung or something will happen and I'll go, whatever that was amazing. Like the song is dog shit, but that moment was incredible. How they tied the hi-hat into the next moment, and like the E of one tied into and then the brought us right into the downbeat so beautifully. Like that, like 1/4 note worth of time was perfect. I want to recreate that. How do I listen to it over and over and over again and try and analyze how they created that moment?
Right.
This is something I got to ask you, man, because you've been shooting photos now for so long, and you're shooting video too. Well, I don't know if you are shooting video, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you took that photo that's behind you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is one of the most emotional photos I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, let me show you. Hold on.
And like,
Let me. I just recently.
how can it be that emotional? How in the hell were you able to capture an image with that much? There's so much happening inside of that photo.
Yeah. So I just got this. I'm gonna screen share for a second. So I just got this re-edited. So this is a tangent off of this, but so anyways, this place right here, this is the old Sheldon Church ruins, and this is like a super old church, like early 1800s, I think, and it's like been burned down 3 times. But anyways, it's a national historical landmark, I think. But they recently gated it off because people were like climbing up on top. There was like somebody who stole a brick from it and tried selling it like online. Just a bunch of nonsense. So they gated it off, which really sucks because, you know, obviously like pictures and it's just a really cool place to visit. But now like you can't even like step inside. Yeah. So anyway, so this is like you can't take this picture anymore. So I got this thing re-edited, and I don't know. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And so it might be hard to see, but anyways, and so I got it like re-edited, and it's just like, I think it's important too that, you know, I think we as creatives, or especially creatives who do this like as like a living, get so worked up about, you know, projects and the next job, and you know, if you're doing it for money, you know, paying the next bills or whatever with whatever kind of money you're making from the, you know, the creative stuff. I think it's important to kind of do stuff for you as well. Yeah. And so whether it's, you know, creating like just like an album or a mixtape of all of like your ideas that you've had like for the year, something that I want to do is make either a book or like an old like leather bound like portfolio or something like that of 2019's like best work. And I think like this
it's
year
your yearbook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I think that, you know, it's important too to, man, especially in the digital age where everything is so, I don't know. It's so weird. It's like stuff doesn't exist anymore. You know, like how many times I've taken pictures of like, this is like huge tangent, but I've taken, you know, pictures of like so many pictures of my kids this year on my phone. And I have a new phone. And so I have this old phone that didn't transfer over, and all of those pictures are on that phone. And like, I don't know what's on there. I haven't looked at them. And, you know,
they basically don't exist.
Exactly. Yeah. They basically don't exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, especially like with the digital age, dude, I've taken, I would say easily over 100,000 pictures. And that's not just like just taking, that's like going back and deleting the bad ones. And then what I have that's good, over 100,000 pictures this year of professional pictures. Right. So, and I could tell you a couple of my favorites, you know, that come to mind, but like 100,000 pictures is a lot. And that might be an exaggeration too, but you know, so many of those, it feels like they don't exist just because they're on a hard drive, they're online.
You know what you should do, man?
Know?
Yeah. You should make a fucking coffee table book.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of plan on doing.
And I bet you
like
could
every
sell
year.
it, man. You title it just right, and I bet you could fucking sell it on like Amazon. And
I bet, actually.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But anyways, I was just saying that I think it's really important to kind of document like your journey or your step in the year or whatever with it, and you know, whether it's just putting your work on a CD or something, but I think it's really important to kind of document that. So that's why I got that re-edited, and I'm going to get it reprinted and everything. But I like what you're saying too, dude, about the, I don't know if you guys are wrapping up or not, but I think it's cool that you're talking about completing a project and then looking at it and being like, all right, what's something that we need to tweak? What's the blaringly terrible issue that we need to fix, you know? And I think it's funny too, because last time we were on video, we were talking about Newell being in his Harry Potter studio. And
hey, look, one of you guys verified that.
Now I'm next to a tree.
Yeah, now you've graduated to a plane background. I just asked if he thought that having a ton of creative projects is healthy for the creative process or detrimental to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And your response
my
was?
honest answer is it all depends on deadlines and priorities, because you're either going to get extremely stifled by the amount of step ones you need to take, and or you're going to keep starting new projects and never finishing one. And so really it's about deadlines, because like,
Yeah.
and balance and time, because it's really easy to prioritize once you give yourself a deadline, and it's got to be a reasonable deadline. And I would say we kind of we should have never really set our deadline for our EDM album being published. We should have set our
knowing how to
deadline
do
for the
EDM.
first song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we should have said, hey, this song's going to be done in a month or in a week or in a whatever amount of time. And then.
Well, I don't think there's anything
try and
wrong with
make that
setting
deadline.
a big picture deadline. It's a matter of you got to make deadlines for all the other little steps and that's what we're talking about. Like you have your end result and you dice out all of your other steps that you need to take. As long as those other little steps have deadlines and you meet them, then you don't even have to worry about that big picture deadline. It's going to take care of itself.
You'll get there eventually. Yeah, exactly. And having a lot of rotating projects and stuff like that, like it can be overwhelming depending on what deadlines, what priorities, and everybody else's thing is more important, especially like us, at least Marine Corps side of it is like, we have to worry about everybody else's projects. You know, we got to worry about videography and arranging and sound and production, basically. So it's up to us to figure out the best kind of pipeline to make that all happen in as fast as possible, pretty much.
Yeah, all while tracking literally every other fucking piece of bullshit that can get in the way.
Yeah.
You know, we're shooting a feature video on Newell this month. Does not change the fact that he is going to leave halfway through the month for the rifle range or pistol range or this or that. And like
there's no time.
Every single Marine involved's got to go do PT at some point. And you've got to fucking eat. You can't be like Mozart, where someone's going to come in and be like, put your pants on. It's time to put pants on now. Like, you've got to be able to remember to put your own pants on and also get all your projects done.
Yeah, but at the same time, I will say that like it is also refreshing to have new projects on your plate. You just need to figure out, again, according to priorities and timelines, where they fit, because that's awesome. Especially when like newer guys, like a lot of newer guys to the band, bring all these cool, crazy ideas. Hey, can we do a whatever this? I'm like, yeah. Give me something a little more solid than just blah. Round it out a little bit and then present an idea. And then, let's see where it goes. Which also, again, goes back to like Gary Vee's thing about the wine and saying the thing was terrible. Yeah. Well, let's put the onus on that person to craft that. Since it's their idea, I'm not going to take that idea and turn it into something that is a complete bastardization of their original idea. No, they can figure it out and mold it, then present it. Cool, we'll figure it out. Right. So that is refreshing too, to keep new stuff constantly going through the pipeline, because it also encourages guys that they have an outlet to do that kind of thing. Like our entire videography section right now was completely done by this one corporal we got, because we had no SOP for it. So she's like, I'm going to do this.
She was the one,
and
like, she came to like 4 or 5 different sergeants and another staff and CO with the idea, the one in charge of her section in PAO, and all of them were like, no. They either said straight up, like, that's never going to work. And then she shows up in the sound room and she's like, hey, this is the idea. What do you think? I think that's an outstanding idea. How does it work?
How do we do it?
Blank stare. Blank stare. And I'm like, all right, cool. Come back
figure
to
it
me.
out.
Tell me like the next 3 things that we have to do. The first 3 things. What do we have to do?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, she's coming back and she's like, all right, so here's how the entire thing's going to work. And I'm like, all right, well, that, like, A, B, and C sound solid. D's sketchy, and E's definitely not going to work.
Yeah.
So,
But
like, and you're definitely not going to get to F if you do B. If we commit to B, F's never going to come to fruition.
Yeah.
So, like,
but going back to
she's
refining
like, oh, crap.
process,
And then
that's
going
what
back
she did.
and, like, she just kept refining the idea.
Yeah.
And then finally we were like, all right, cool. Let's stick a Marine in the room, throw a camera up, and hit record.
And
Now we're ready to now we're ready to just do, like, take an action and then see what the ramifications are from that. Because my God, have we the amount of errors that we've like run into that just don't work. And like that, and it's 90% of the time it's sample rate that kills the whole project. Sample rate's the enemy of audio and video, because the moment, like Newell recently, I didn't tell him, I didn't specify exactly what sample rate to shoot audio, and he did 48 and I did 44. So his video audio and the footage will never line up with what the audio is recording is, because it's like just 4,000th off.
Even with conversion,
in the beginning, just fine.
Work.
Like you'll see 3 claps, you line that up, and the first minute's about just right, and then you fast forward 20 minutes later, and the dude's doing something, and you're not, and it's already done. Like the audio's over. Video ended.
Is it just because it's 8 minutes? Is it just because it's like super? So I've done a little bit of video and for like some music stuff. When I first got out of the Marines, I was gigging out in town a lot, and I was like, well, I might as well just like make a Facebook page and put up videos and stuff like that. You know, try to get more awareness. And so I did a couple videos, and I would record just like in GarageBand, and then I'd just sync up the video and call it a day. But none of my videos were longer than like 4.5 minutes. So does it take like a certain amount of time before you actually see that difference? Because I didn't pay attention to the sample rate at all.
Well, and that's the thing is, in almost all commercial setups, it starts off at 44.1.
Yeah.
That's like your base sample rate. So like, you might have just gotten really lucky in that everything just did 44.1 out of 10.
Oh,
yeah.
And like,
so part of it too is we uses Fridge's phone a lot of the times because he has like, what do you, XR or 11 or whatever?
I have the XS. So
sure. So that
shoots
one
in 4K.
Yeah,
it does,
which is fucking awesome.
But so and like we use this Shure MV88 microphone to record all our stuff.
Okay.
And we always use his stuff, so his phone, so it automatically puts the software on your phone basically, and you can change all the sound schematics for it. Nerding aside, but he manually changed it to 44.1. But I haven't used mine for it, and I have an iPhone 6 because I'm in the Stone Age. But mine, so I went to go record this video, and I didn't even think about that because I just assumed it was going to be 44.1, but it was 48. So, and this was also a track we were making that was supposed to be, it was like a 20, 30-minute thing, and it was supposed to be unaltered video.
No less than 15 minutes. So it's supposed to be, it was like for a college audition. So
yeah, it was college audition.
The Marine sat down and started playing, and she was going to play her pieces, play some scales, and then we would bring in the sight reading, put the sight reading in front of her so that you could see that someone had given her the music. And it was all supposed to happen in one frame of sequence. So you have like a 23-minute video, and over time, like sections, like she would play her sight reading piece in my recording right after, like it was almost perfectly after she just played it in the video.
Yeah.
And like that's it. Like you can't sync that. There's nothing you can do to fix it.
Yeah.
We were trying to like bounce it at different sample rates, and it was just getting all fucking crazy.
Yeah, it got
but we couldn't
weird.
fix it. I don't know.
So
maybe
weird.
if we Googled it, I'm sure we could have found the answer, but we didn't.
Yeah.
And like, because the answer for me is easy: re-record, and make sure all the sample rates and everything's speaking the same way, so that this doesn't happen again.
So I don't know. I don't know if this would work or not. So in I don't even remember what we were supposed to be talking about in the first place, but I think in Final Cut Pro, so I use Final Cut Pro to edit all my videos, and you can put the video and the audio like, you know, on top of each other like that.
Yeah.
And then you can drag the audio just slightly to just literally stretch it out. So if your video was shorter, so let's say that your video is like right here, but your audio, the same audio is out here. You just drag that until the audio matches up. So you're just basically,
you can
altering
do a similar,
the speed of the video.
We're not using Final Cut to edit. We're using
iMovie.
And it's a lot more rudimentary, and it's
you might be able to do that with iMovie actually. I don't know.
Really?
Because you can still alter the you can alter the time or the speed, I should say, the speed of the video. So the most important thing is obviously the audio, right? And the video is just to kind of like help you understand what's going on in the audio.
Right.
And so you take the video and you can alter the speed by percentage. And so you could have like 50% and then it's like slowed down in half. So it's like slow motion, or you could do it to 200% where it's twice as fast. And so you just do it by like a percentage at a time until that audio and that video kind of, you're stretching out the video a little bit. That might be something to consider. I don't know if it would work. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, maybe. Because we can do that in Studio One. We can do that in Studio One. So, but then again, it's also iMovie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing in iMovie. So I barely even mess around with that thing. So I need to do that more.
Yeah.
Just figure it out.
I mean, Final Cut Pro obviously is way more powerful, like way more powerful. But yeah, I think I know you can do slow motion in iMovie for sure, and you can change like a custom percentage. But I don't know how, because Final Cut you can go to like 1/10 of a percentage.
Sure.
So, but yeah.
Well, that might be something to look into. Maybe we can salvage that recording or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
All right, I actually have to go. I have a call at 8.
Okay.
And I have to poop.
But
yeah,
I'm actually getting pretty tired.
Oh yeah,
I want to work on that. I want to work on that fucking. Now that I actually have the MIDI file, I want to work on our intro music a little bit.
Cool.
But yeah, I'll cut this and put it in the Google Drive for you guys to do whatever you need to do or whatever, and then I'll get it up on YouTube. But cool. Sweet. I think there's like we're talking about, there's like things that we can fix and make a little bit better. But when do we want to do the next one? I think it'd be cool if we could do like 5, like right away, like as soon as we can get like 5 episodes, and then we can kind of plan them out a little bit more in length.
Yeah. You guys want to try it? Because
we go back to work on Monday.
On Monday, okay.
We could. You want to try and do one on Saturday?
I'm down.
Like same times?
Yeah. Sweet, guys. All right, I'm gonna go poop.
Okay.
See you guys.
Later.
Later.